So with that, please tell me about the cross. The cross.
What cross?
He said that.
I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, I was like, I was like,
I have it in my pocket right now. This is, a lot of people won't believe this story, and I'm okay with that. But when I joined the Air Force, I had a really strong Christian lady, neighbor lady. She gave me a cross, and I took it with me every assignment. I carried it daily, every deployment, all around the world, 65 different countries.
Wow.
It's unreal, but that in the end, that's the truth. So I lost this cross. I was at DIA. I was the command chief at DIA, and I was up in my office, and I for whatever reason, I put my hand in my pocket. The cross is not there, and I'm like, oh no, I had to be in the metal detector. When you walk through, you dump all your stuff in the little bowl.
so you had this cross for how long at that point?
I had it for, since 1991, and it was 2014-ish,
Okay.
so 23 years.
Yeah.
So I went immediately down to the security checkpoint, and I was like, hey, did anybody turn in this little cross? And, no, they never, I never saw that cross again until last August.
So it was, hold that thought for a second.
Yes, sir.
In that moment when you didn't find it, when you lost it, and then you went down to lost and found, they didn't have it. What were you feeling in that moment? Because you had this for 23 years.
Absolutely. And it was like, maybe mourning is too strong of a word, but I mean, it was just kind of like dread. Like this cross had been everywhere with me. And it meant, and it's not like a lucky charm or anything. It's just a reminder, of my faith and, just the things that are important to me in my life. And so dread, I'm like, this is unbelievable. Where could it be?
Yeah.
Never saw that cross again. 8 years later, I know this sounds strange. I'm praying. So I'm working for the defense contractor, and I'm toying with this idea with the Light Foundation, and I'm praying about, what's the right answer? Where does God want me to be? I get a little choked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my wife came upstairs, and she said, when did you find your cross? And I'm like, what do you, like, this was the farthest thing from, I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, your little cross. I found it in the dryer. This is a brand new dryer. I wear this, I'm not a fancy clothes guy. I'm usually in the same clothes week in and week out. How this cross ended up in the dryer, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And when I tell that story, I know people are like, oh, well, maybe you washed something that you wore 8 years ago and it just popped out. If I did, I certainly don't remember that.
Yeah.
And my wife doesn't either. It's just, how did this happen? But it was, for me, it was another sign that, what, I needed to follow my heart, go work with these kids, and try to make a difference in their life. But
so what year was this?
So this was last year in August of 22.
So you had lost it for 8 years.
8 years. I never saw that cross again. And like I said, this is the cross.
Yeah.
And so 32 years now I've had this cross.
Do you mind if I look at it?
Oh, please.
Yeah.
It's just a simple little aluminum cross. But the lady that gave it to me, it meant something to her, and it certainly has meant something for me. And I can't explain it, Martin. I really can't. But all I can tell you is that's the truth.
You feel like that was some divine intervention, and you kind of alluded to it to maybe
I do.
as a sign to
do.
take that position.
And I'm as I'm getting older, maybe that's it. I've always been a believer.
Yeah.
But I would say God wasn't first in my life. Honestly, the Air Force became my God. That I was all in on the Air Force and whatever it took to, meet the demands there. But as I'm getting older, I pray a lot more, meditate a lot more.
Yeah.
Certainly about the meaning of life and what's important. And I do think it was a sign.